Every summer during the month of July, the NBA Summer League takes place. An oasis of basketball in the midst of a few months in which the aspects of the league that attract the most attention from fans are the rumors. But during this tournament, some general managers manage to find vital pieces which can even change the course of the franchise. Will any of these players become the NBA's new superstar? Because beyond the first pick of Victor Wembanyama, whose potential is known to all fans, and his inconsistent play during the only 2 games we were able to watch him, there are plenty of rookies in this class who are capable of leading an NBA franchise. Amen Thompson, the number 4 pick in the draft by the Houston Rockets, and Scoot Henderson, the number 3 pick, had to leave the tournament after suffering injuries during their first minutes of play. Other players such as Brandon Miller, the number 2 pick by the Charlotte Hornets, who is expected to make a big impact, had a good role in the Summer League, but with a low level of efficiency. However, there have been other more under-the-radar players who have had a satisfactory participation in the Summer League. One such case has happened this year with Keontae George. The Texas guard was selected with the 16th pick in the first round of this past draft, after completing a year at Baylor University. However, what Utah did not know is that such a young player, at 19 years old, would be ready to compete in the NBA from day one. George has averaged 21.7 points and 6.3 assists during the Summer League. He has been extremely efficient for a player at his position, shooting 52% from the field and 44% from three-point range. However, it will not be easy for Keontae to get into the Utah Jazz rotation next season, as the Salt Lake City franchise has 7 guards on its roster, including players like Colin Sexton, Jordan Clarkson, or Talen Horton-Tucker. However, with the great performance he has had this summer, it would be logical to think that Will Hardy will test the youngster's skills, at least to see if he translates those numbers to the NBA. Not only have the Denver Nuggets put together the best season in franchise history, capturing the championship with a record of 16 wins and 4 losses in the playoffs, they also seem to have gotten it right with their draft night picks. Hunter Tyson was drafted with the 37th pick just a month ago, and his performance in the Summer League has been impressive. The small forward has averaged 20.8 points and 6 rebounds per game in the Summer League, with an impressive 54% shooting percentage from the field and 50% in three-pointers. A spectacular level of efficiency that has surely surprised Michael Malone. Although the Nuggets already have 9 players capable of playing this position, only Aaron Gordon, Michael Porter Jr., and Justin Holiday have proven their worth in the NBA. It is to be expected that Hunter, like Keontae George, will have good minutes during the regular season to show his level of play. Malone has never had a problem giving minutes to rookies, as happened last season with Christian Braun. Another case of great performance in the last Summer League was more expected. Pam Whitmore, the Villanova University forward, was one of the most interesting prospects in the draft. However, the player fell to the 20th pick on that night of the draft in June. These situations are very frustrating for young players, and Whitmore has decided to prove to all the GMs that they made a mistake by not picking him with a higher pick. With Amen Thompson out for the Summer League, Cam had the keys to run the team's offense, and he did just that with averages of 19.3 points, 5.2 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2.4 steals per game. Numbers that have allowed the forward to gain the confidence needed to play his game. The Rockets, however, will have a new coach on their bench, Ime Udoka. After his good season in Boston, the coach lost his job due to extra sporting issues. However, he now has one of the youngest and most promising squads in the league. Whitmore will have to play minutes with Dylan Brooks, Jeff Green, and Jabari Smith Jr. But after being one of the most hyped prospects in his performance in the Summer League, it is clear that he will have minutes from the first moment of the season. And just another player who has gone through a similar situation, or even more exaggerated, is Imani Bates. When the forward was only 15 years old, he was considered the best player in the class and one of the most Kevin Durant-like prospects to ever come through the NCAA. However, when this year's draft came around, some pundits were predicting he wouldn't even be drafted. In the end, the Cavaliers decided to invest their 49th pick in Bates, who has shown since Summer League that he should have a spot on the roster, averaging 17.2 points and 6 rebounds per game, with efficient shooting percentages of 44% from the field and 40% on three-pointers. it looks like Imani will get minutes at the next level, being a very low-risk gamble with a lot of potential. He is also part of a competitive franchise that managed to qualify for the playoffs safely last season. The Cavs already have a competent rotation of forwards with players like Isaac Okoro, Isaiah Mobley, who, by the way, also had a great summer league, or newcomer George Niang, who, after receiving a $9 million a year contract, will presumably get a good amount of minutes. A complicated role for Bates, which he will have to cope with if he wants to enter JB Bickerstaff's plans and have a future in the NBA. Another player who has played a great role in the Summer League and who finds himself in a roster even more competitive than the Cavs is Tumani Kamara. The Belgian small forward from Dayton was drafted by the Phoenix Suns with the 52nd pick in the draft. Unlike many peers in the class of 2023, the player is already 23 years old. And this maturity has allowed him to average 16.3 points, 7 rebounds, including 3.3 offensive rebounds per game, with a good 46% shooting efficiency from the field. Still, Fran Vogel's Phoenix Suns are a powerhouse as of today, and it won't be easy to get into the rotation of a team that has Kevin Durant at his position, in addition to players like Drew Eubanks, Keita Bates-Diop, or sharpshooter Yuta Watanabe. However, Tumani's good size added to his good defensive skills may convince Vogel, a coach with a clear defensive preference, who will try to integrate the huge amount of talent he has at his disposal to achieve the only goal that will satisfy the desires of Phoenix fans, to lift the Larry O'Brien. A more special case is Marcus Noel. The player, also 23 years old, was not drafted during the 2023 draft. However, despite his short stature of 5 feet 8 inches, he was able to find a spot to play in the summer tournament. Noel is not a great scorer, but he is a player capable of distributing the ball very easily. After averaging 12 points and 7 assists per game in July, he earned one of the 2 two-way contract spots available to the Canadian franchise. Toronto is a team that is, however, in the midst of a rebuild, not only because of the loss of Fred VanVleet, who left the team for Houston in free agency, but also because the Raptors will have a new head coach on the bench. Darko Rajakovic will debut with the difficult mission of competing with a roster that seems far from entering the playoffs. And despite the fact that the team counts with high-quality guards such as Gary Trent Jr., Dennis Schroeder, or the recently drafted Grady Dick, the style of play of these players is not exactly that of a pass-first point guard. This is the biggest hope Marcus can count on to get into the rotation for some stretch of the season. However, we will most likely see the small guard dazzle in the G League for most of next year. The NBA is the best basketball league in the world, and if a player is able to get into a team's rotation at some point in his career, chances are he's got his life figured out. However, for every minute played at the elite level, there are a huge number of prospects eager to prove their level of play in the eyes of coaches, scouts, and general managers. A situation that makes the Summer League, even if it is largely ignored by most NBA fans, especially important for all those players who dream of developing their basketball career in the United States. A time of the year when some dreams are fulfilled and most are destroyed. Because basketball is neither easy nor fair. But we all already know that